Hey guys, welcome back to Farmstead Forge. So in my last video, we made these socket tongs for the special project that I'm doing today, and I am making a replica of an 1800s old Montana hook, and we'll take a good look at this at the end of the video. I borrowed that from my neighbor. I couldn't find a lot of information on these hooks. I even reached out to some collectors, and they pretty much said the same thing that I came up with, and that they were made in the mid to late 1800s and don't really know who made them or where they were made. This certain hook is called the Old Montana hook because it has Old Montana stamped on it. I think that probably this hook was started production before Montana was actually a state, just because it's called Old Montana. A lot of times you refer to the Old Montana Territory as the Old Montana Territory. So I think that's probably the case, which is pretty cool. It's a pretty rich part of Montana history. I'm sure Wyoming, Idaho, everywhere has these. I had a few practice runs that I did. We'll talk about those in the very end of the video too, of my fails and my successes. Forge welding these sheet metal sockets are very tricky for me. I haven't done very many, but I kind of studied the hook and I'm pretty sure I know how they did it, and it came out successful for me. I have some 3/8 rod, and we're going to upset that a little bit, and that will insert into my sheet metal, and that keeps my rod from sliding out. It just locks into place really nice. Toward the end of the video, I'll show how it's used and the special place it's going if you don't already know what it's for. Just don't want a sharp edge on here. I want a nice gradual taper, because I don't want that showing up in my sheet metal when I forge weld it. Everything feels like it's fitting tight. I'm gonna have one more heat. My other challenge is this sheet metal was pretty rough. I mean, I cut it out up here, but it's been rusty for a while, so it's not super clean. Make sure when you do this cools down enough it's not welding your socket to your piece. Start over. welded. It's not super pretty, but gonna be good enough. Pretty round. This is where these tongs really shine. I fed it into it, that way I could know where to start, and then from now on I'll start at the end and work my way in. Come on. You know you don't want to be on there anymore. Pole is actually long enough, I wound up making two, have two of them for two different places. Almost perfect. Thing. You can see with the old flux it catches, and I can see where my high spots are. As long as I put it on the same way every time, we're golden. obviously, when you got a sick critter out on the range, the sheep herders needed something to catch their sheep with. Be quiet. The hunt wouldn't was quite serious. Works pretty darn good. See how they lock into place so it doesn't kick it off. What I like too is craftsmanship in it, where it's flat on this side, but the side that catches the animal, it's just a nice rounded edge so they don't hurt the leg or tear up the leg. I love the way this turned out. It looks like it's 100 years old, which is pretty cool because I'll show you where we're putting it. This old sheep hook, or some place they call the crook, is going on our historic sheep wagon. We got this side all dressed up pretty good with the iron dog and the nice latch. But this side is looking a little bare. So I want to take it and put him on there like that. But brings up a new problem. It won't quite sit on my frame. I'm gonna have to make a hanger. I kind of have an idea for a wagon-esque hanger, but maybe you guys can give me a good suggestion. Let's go talk about the fails. Wait, hold on. You guys like my bench I made? This is out of an old hopper off of a drill, or cedar, some people call it. This is going on the front porch of our Airbnb cabin. Figure we'll put some outdoor games and stuff in there. I'm very happy with the way this came out. Did ding it up a little bit on my vise when I was putting my nail in. My forge weld isn't perfect, but it held all right. Usually if something like that's gonna crack, it's gonna crack while you're forging things. So the original one is pretty cool. And you can see their forge weld wasn't great either, and actually it's coming apart right here. You can kind of hook it with your fingernail. Probably can't see, but I shined a light in there and you can see how they upset that rod so it wouldn't slip out, and it's not even fit with their taper very well. It's actually got a big gap on one side down in there if you look. So definitely not perfect. Mine isn't a complete replica. This is a lot flatter and thinner. And this old one is spring steel, but this isn't going to be used very often, so it'd be fine. If I was to make a perfect one, I would have had to make power or tooling for my power hammer. My old swage block has put some indents in there, but that's okay. For me, it looks old. I mean, it looks like it should have been made 100 years ago. As you can see, it has stamped Old Montana on it. So if anybody has any more information on these, I'd love to hear about it. Put it in the comments section below. As my practice ones went, so my first one, I forge welded it, and it welded, but it's obviously not pretty at all. And I even took practice and I hit it with a hammer after it was cold to see if it would separate, to see if I actually got it, and it put a big ding in it. So it did forge weld, it just looks crappy. I was just using stubs, you know, for practicing. My second one, I was running out of propane, as we all do in the middle of a forge weld, and it looked like it was forge weld until I took and flattened this out, and then it cracked apart. And it's still really tight. You can just feel a tiny bit of wobble. But the beauty of the way you upset that and put it into your socket is it would probably never pull out of there. You know, that thing would probably, if that was a hook, it would probably last for as long as you needed it to. And then since my sheet metal was so thin and rust pit and crappy, I thought I'd try thicker sheet metal. And I got this seam to weld, but it got a little cold on me, and I was having a bad day when I was practicing, so that didn't help. But it cracked away, and instead of throwing it back in, trying to clean it up, I threw it on the ground and moved on with life. The best success I had, obviously, and I don't know why, my first one, I did get it to weld, but it was a lot of back and forth, is I hadn't heated up my bick, and I read that in a book, and I don't know why I didn't do that to start with, because I've done that since shoeing school. I'll throw a hot piece of metal on my anvil before I'd weld a bar shoe, just to take the chill out of my anvil. So I don't know why that didn't register in my brain when I was trying to weld this thin stuff. So after that, once I heated my bick up, it went way faster. And it is really hard to do a forge weld, something this thin, and you're trying to turn cameras on, and then I get all frazzled because people are watching me, so it never goes smooth. Like this one went way smoother than this one, but is what it is. This was my last one I did, and it kind of dinged it up pretty good because I was just trying to weld it on here. So that's when I made my little V-swage and just heated it up. And I could do it on a swage block, but you can't heat the block up that hot, so that's where this little homemade jobby just to throw in the vise worked really nice, just to keep that temperature. And then it just made a lot smoother for this to weld, and you don't get these divots as bad. It was a fun challenge, and I'm excited to put this on the old sheep wagon. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Keep it simple, and we will catch you in the next one. We made these not scrolling. I might have to chop this video up a little bit, yeah. It's not quite as thick as you made out.